Yes, Charleston White is correct. I'm a rapper, not a dealer. Be sure to catch my new show, 50 Cent, 50 Ways to Catch a Killer.
I see that Meech home concert got the streets talking. The biggest Meech home, the streets back. That's what I'm talking about. That's how real niggas come home and get it down. 50, who own your masters? Who own your masters? I buy your masters. You better. I will buy your masters.
Fire. 50 Cent just clowned Big Meech over a $120 million deal gone wrong. Rick Ross promised him the world, movies, fame, cash, but delivered nothing. Now Meech is left broke, humiliated, and the internet can't stop laughing. Did loyalty just die in the streets? And wait, some say this feud might even end in the ring. Stick around, because you won't believe how messy this got. Fire. Yo, 50 Cent just threw some serious shade at Big Meech, and it's messy. Word on the street is Rick Ross allegedly scammed Meech out of a $120 million deal. Ross had hyped up big movies, huge projects, the whole package, but delivered absolutely nothing. Now Big Meech? His left looking broke, humiliated, and completely exposed in the public eye, while 50 Cent is out here turning his name into straight-up comedy. Every post, every tweet, every viral clip seems to mock Meech, painting him as the punchline in a saga that fans can't stop watching. The internet has gone wild, and people are even joking that the only way this story could possibly conclude is with Meech stepping into the ring to square off against 50. It sounds extreme, almost unbelievable, but that's exactly how heated the tension has become. Social media users, fans of hip-hop culture, and entertainment outlets have all latched onto the story, spinning memes, creating highlight reels, and speculating endlessly about what's next. To them, this isn't just a feud, it's a full-blown spectacle. Meech, once considered untouchable in his own right, is now being lampooned at every turn, while 50 Cent's commentary turns even the smallest slip-ups into material for jokes that spread like wildfire. It's a dramatic reversal of fortunes, and it all traces back to a series of decisions and broken promises that changed the trajectory of Meech's comeback. So how did it all begin? Let's rewind. After Big Meech got out of prison, the streets were buzzing with anticipation. People expected him to make a major comeback, reclaiming the legendary status that had once made him a household name in both the streets and entertainment circles. Fans, peers, and industry insiders alike imagined him stepping back into the spotlight, ready to show that he was still a force to be reckoned with. His return was supposed to be the moment that solidified his legacy, the kind of dramatic homecoming that would turn heads and cement his influence for a new generation. Everywhere you looked, the buzz was palpable. Interviews, social media chatter, and fan discussions all carried one common theme. Big Meech was about to rise again, bigger and stronger than ever. Everyone was eager to see him step up, and the expectations were sky high. Then came Rick Ross. Entering the picture with all the flair, charisma, and influence that he's known for, Ross stepped in with a series of wild promises that seemed almost too good to be true. He dangled a $120 million film deal in front of Meech, along with other massive projects that promised to turn the street's favorite figure into a full-blown entertainment powerhouse. It wasn't just a single opportunity, it was an entire empire laid out on the table, promising a Hollywood-level comeback. The deals included movies, major collaborations, and opportunities that would have catapulted Meech into a completely new echelon of wealth, fame, and influence. On the surface, it looked like the perfect plan. A seamless transition from street legend to media mogul, with Rick Ross as the key architect behind the scenes. Fans were immediately captivated by the idea, sharing clips, speculating on the projects, and imagining the kind of splash Meech could make in music, film, and culture if all the promises came true. And here's where things get even more interesting. Ross wasn't subtle about it. In various clips and public appearances, he made these promises loud and clear, outlining in vivid detail the fortune and opportunities awaiting Meech. He presented himself as the connector, the man who could turn vision into reality, and the audience ate it up. For a brief moment, it seemed like Meech's legendary comeback was finally within reach. Fans watched every announcement, every clip, and every statement with bated breath, imagining the kinds of projects and collaborations that could reshape Meech's legacy and secure his place in modern culture. The excitement was tangible. It seemed like nothing could go wrong.
Yeah, so look, I do want to do a BMF film because you've been entertained by a lackluster, small budget series. Now it's time to do a big budget film. Which director? Shout out to my homie F. Gary Gray, Antoine Fuqua, what's up? Tarantino. There's a lot of legends. This is gonna be big, I can feel it.
But as history often shows in high-stakes deals like this, when something sounds too good to be true, it usually is. Despite Ross' promises, none of the projects materialized in any meaningful way. The $120 million film, the big collaborations, and the massive projects were all smoke and mirrors. Instead of building Meech up, Ross's involvement became a distraction, a shiny exterior with no real substance behind it. Meech, expecting to gain traction and rebuild his empire, was left in a position that made him look foolish to the public. While 50 Cent had been quietly investing in Meech's rise, funding the BMF show, paying for Lil Meech's acting classes, and offering tangible support, Ross provided flashy words with no follow-through. The contrast couldn't have been clearer, and the internet didn't hesitate to notice. Fans quickly turned on Meech, seeing him as someone who had been duped, or worse, someone who willingly aligned himself with empty promises for clout. This sequence of events set the stage for the viral chaos that followed. Meech's struggles, Ross's false promises, and 50 Cent's relentless trolling created a perfect storm for public mockery. The comedy, the drama, and the tension all fed into one another, making the feud impossible to ignore. What had begun as a hopeful homecoming for Meech now spiraled into a cautionary tale about misplaced trust, flashy distractions, and the stark reality that not all that glitters is gold. The $120 million dream had collapsed, and Meech was left to navigate the fallout. A landscape filled with memes, jokes, and the relentless scrutiny of a public that thrives on drama and spectacle. In short, what looked like the perfect comeback story turned into a public spectacle of missteps and empty promises. Meech's image suffered, Ross's involvement became a running joke, and 50 Cent's calculated moves only intensified the humiliation. The saga not only captured the attention of fans but also demonstrated the harsh realities of the entertainment and street worlds, where alliances, loyalty, and public perception can shift in an instant, and where a single miscalculation can turn legend into laughingstock.
When you take Little Meech and you put him in fucking acting school, you take him from Detroit. I remember him rapping when he was rapping and nobody was helping him from what I seen. Cause I remember when Lil Meech was rapping. Nobody helped him, and then 50 put him in acting school, kept it on the low, and he made all this money. You understand what I'm saying? But to be young and have money is crazy, because we was young and had money before, so I understand. Motherfucker got Richard Millie's, Lil Meech got Richard Millie's Chrome Heart jeans, 10,000. I buy some Chrome Hearts for 10,000. I might wear them shits for a month, bro.
50 Cent just clowned Big Meech after reports surfaced that Rick Ross allegedly scammed him out of a $120 million deal. Ross had promised big movies and massive projects but delivered absolutely nothing, leaving Meech looking broke while 50 turned his name into a joke. Fans are even joking that the only way this saga ends is with Meech stepping into the ring to face 50. After Big Meech got out of prison, the streets expected him to make a huge comeback, and Ross swooped in with wild promises, a $120 million film, major projects, the whole package. On paper, it seemed like Meech was finally about to cash in on his legendary status, but Ross never followed through. Instead, he used Meech's name to flex on 50, his longtime rival, dangling dreams and clout, while 50 put in real work, funding the BMF show, paying for Lil Meech's acting classes, and giving him a platform to shine. Ross? Just empty words and a free PR boost. And it wasn't only 50 claiming this. People close to him, like Tony Yao, confirmed he was the one putting in the real effort. Now reports are saying Big Meech is frustrated, broke, and slowly realizing that Rick Ross only linked up with him to throw shade at 50 Cent. Instead of leveling up, Meech is stuck looking like a pawn in someone else's game. And the fake promises were just the start. Things really spiraled when Meech's son, Lil Meech, was spotted hanging out with Ross at a club, just days after leaked texts supposedly had him saying, F Ross. The viral video showed them side by side, whispering, posing for photos, and flashing smiles while the whole room glowed red. Unsurprisingly, 50 Cent didn't let that slide. He jumped online, turning the family drama into a punchline, joking that Ross had told Lil Meech to give him his dad's address so he could send some wings top wings, classic 50 trolling at its finest. But the wings joke wasn't just shade. It was 50 signaling that Ross wasn't really helping Meech, he was feeding him scraps. And if that wasn't harsh enough, 50 went further, revealing behind-the-scenes chaos with Lil Meech. In a now-deleted post, he claimed he had to personally send Lil Meech to rehab, describing him showing up to set high, even throwing up during a weapons test, and that whippets were found in his truck, a substance 50 had to Google himself. The entire account painted 50 as the responsible one, stepping in to keep Meech and his family on track while Russ offered nothing but empty promises. Meanwhile, 50 Cent was trying to keep Lil Meech focused, even as his own father was out there hyping the same destructive habits. The situation got so messy that Lil Meech even ended up getting arrested at an airport, a moment that really says a lot about the chaos surrounding him.
Hey, you understand that?
Can I call my mom or somebody, please?
We'll do that after.
Okay.
All right, just turn around for me. Be cooperative. Everything's video and audio surveillance. Plus, I'm on body cam. You understand that? Okay.
Once 50 Cent dropped all that info, fans started asking a big question. If he really helped save Lil Meech's career from crashing, why was Meech now siding with Russ? That's when things got even messier. Michael Rainey Jr., aka Tariq from Power, jumped into the conversation during a live stream and didn't hold back. When a fan asked if he felt bad for Lil Meech, he skipped the safe answer and went straight savage, making the drama even more intense.
I feel bad for Lil Meech. I don't feel bad for no grown man on this planet. Like, I'm a grown man. Why the f I gotta feel bad for another grown man? Like, you a grown man too. What you asking for my sympathy for? You be alright. Oh,
That clip spread like wildfire. And guess who reposted it with a laugh? Yep, 50 Cent. He literally echoed Michael Rainey Jr.'s words in his caption, making it clear he fully backs his power star and doubling down on the narrative that Meech is weak. The timing couldn't have been worse for Meech, making him look like he was losing respect from everyone around 50. But this tension had actually been simmering for a while, ever since Big Meech's failed Welcome Back concert. When he returned, people expected fireworks. He tried to organize a massive concert stacked with rappers, but instead of keeping 50 involved, the man who turned his story into a TV empire, he leaned on Rick Ross. Here's a clip of them promoting the event that everyone thought would be legendary.
February 13th, the Big Meech benefit concert. It's gonna be iconic. Too many names to list, but let me salute some of the legends. Lil Baby, Boss Man D-Lo, 21 Savage, Sexy Red, Ricky Rose. Now, this the first time it's ever been done. Me performing BMF with the icon himself. This shit gonna be special.
Epic.
Get your tickets right now.
I'm back.
That move completely backfired. The concert never happened, and for 50 Cent, it was the final straw. He accused Meech of cutting deals with the feds and went on a relentless online attack. Fans who once saw Meech as a street legend began questioning everything. Teaming up with Rick Ross only made it worse. It looked like Meech had traded loyalty for clout, and 50 turned that perception into fact with his constant posts. Instead of marking a legendary comeback, the concert became the moment people stopped riding for him. That's when Meech tried to fight back. He posted an old photo of him with 50, but slapped a giant rat emoji over 50's face. No subtlety there, he was calling him a snitch. He didn't stop there, labeling 50 an internet gangster, basically saying, all he does is troll from behind a phone.
I wasn't going to address this because I'm not trying to let nobody trick me off the streets. But I never folded, never told, never will. Death before dishonor, always with me.
Rick Ross jumped in too, piling on and mocking 50 Cent for being upset about their link-up. Fans saw it as a classic tag team move, Ross co-signing Meech just to rile 50 even more. There's a clip showing Ross flat out laughing at 50 for being mad that Meech was standing right next to him, and it only added fuel to the fire.
You took a picture with Rick Ross? Put your back against the wall and just slide down.
But people couldn't ignore the irony. 50 Cent had given Lil Meech real opportunities, while Rick Ross offered nothing more than photo ops. And yet, Meech seemed more willing to ride with Ross. That confusion fueled wild rumors that Meech actually wanted to fight 50 for real. After the rat emoji post and Ross's trolling, the internet exploded with speculation about a possible boxing match between 50 and Meech. Some saw it as sad, reducing Meech to celebrity boxing for validation. What really pushed the rumor, though, was Meech himself. When asked if he'd ever swing back, He hinted he might lace up gloves if it came down to it. Even if it was partially a joke, the internet ran with it, and once the boxing chatter hit blogs, the story spread like wildfire. Just as the fight talk started heating up, Wack 100 stepped in with his own explosive theory. According to him, this isn't just about loyalty or Ross, it's about secrets. He claims Meech's confidant, Tammy Cohen, once told 50 that Meech had conspired with federal authorities in other street cases, suggesting Meech wasn't as loyal to the streets as people thought, and that's where 50's snitch narrative really comes from. Wack 100 also suggested that Tammy might have had her own reasons for turning on Big Meech, and when you dig into the details, it starts to make sense why things got so messy. One possibility, according to Wack, is that Tammy felt abandoned when Meech went to prison. Think about it. Meech had been incarcerated for years, and during that time, the people closest to him were left to fend for themselves in a world shaped by street politics, fame, and the pressures of the lifestyle he had left behind. For Tammy, that could have been a lonely, frustrating experience. She may have invested emotionally, financially, or even legally in helping Meech's name and legacy stay alive, only to feel like all her efforts were sidelined while he was away. When he finally got out, instead of fully recognizing and appreciating the work she had done on his behalf, he immediately started asserting his control over his empire again. That could easily create tension between someone who felt loyal to him in his absence and someone who suddenly found themselves being sidelined. Another possible reason, Wack suggested, is that Tammy grew frustrated with Meech over the BMF series. Specifically, she had already negotiated certain life rights for the series with 50 Cent, which is a major deal considering how much influence and revenue that show could generate. For her, those negotiations weren't just a legal formality, they were a way to protect Meech's legacy and secure a future for his family. So when Meech returned from prison and tried to reclaim those rights, it may have come across as undermining the very work Tammy had put into place. From her perspective, she may have felt that Meech wasn't acting in the best interest of the family or the brand she had fought to protect. That kind of friction can create cracks in relationships that once seemed unbreakable, and in high-stakes situations like this, those cracks can quickly turn into open conflicts. Either way, this puts Meech in a very difficult position. If Wack's claims are true, it means the person who was closest to him, who should have been on his side, may have been secretly feeding information to 50 Cent. That's a staggering revelation because it suggests that Meech may have been surrounded by whispers and leaks without even realizing it. Imagine trying to rebuild your life after prison, navigating a world of entertainment deals, street credibility, and personal relationships, only to discover that the one person you trusted the most was possibly giving your rival ammunition to attack you publicly. That level of betrayal would rattle anyone, especially someone like Meech, whose entire reputation and comeback strategy relies heavily on trust and loyalty. In this scenario, every move Meech made would have been under scrutiny, with 50 Cent possibly receiving insider knowledge that allowed him to stay one step ahead, trolling, mocking, and discrediting Meech at every turn. Wack explained it in a way that highlights just how precarious Meech's position had become. He painted a picture of a man who came home from prison expecting to reclaim his name, reputation, and empire, only to find that the very people he trusted might have been complicit in undermining him. According to Wack, Tammy's involvement, or perceived involvement, adds another layer of complexity to the feud between 50 Cent and Meech. It's no longer just a story about rivalries in the entertainment world or street beefs over money and respect. It's now deeply personal, involving questions of loyalty, trust, and the lengths to which people will go to protect their own interests or align themselves with power. Wack's perspective suggests that this isn't merely about public appearances or trolling on social media. It's about strategy, survival, and influence in an environment where everyone has an agenda, and every move can have consequences. From Meech's standpoint, this makes navigating relationships incredibly tricky. He has to be cautious about whom he trusts, whom he aligns with, and how he reacts to both public and private provocations. The fact that someone like Tammy, someone so close, could be seen as working against him complicates not only his personal life but also his professional dealings. It raises the stakes for every decision, every negotiation, and every public appearance. Meech has to weigh the potential for betrayal in every interaction while also trying to maintain his image, rebuild his brand, and protect his family's legacy. In that sense, Wack's suggestion adds a dramatic layer of tension to an already volatile story, making the feud between Meech and 50 Cent about more than just celebrity antics. It becomes a high-stakes game of trust, influence, and power dynamics. The implications of Tammy's alleged role also extend beyond Meech and 50 Cent. It demonstrates how influential figures in Meech's inner circle can shift the narrative and change public perception. While Meech may appear to be taking certain actions or making specific choices, it's possible that insider information from Tammy could have framed those actions in a negative light, amplifying the sense that he is weak, easily manipulated, or less loyal than people once thought. In the world of high-profile entertainment, where public opinion and social media reactions can make or break careers, even the perception of betrayal can be as damaging as betrayal itself. By suggesting that Tammy may have been feeding 50 Cent ammo, Wack is essentially pointing out that the battle isn't just on the surface, it's happening behind the scenes, where strategy and relationships determine who gains the upper hand. Ultimately, Wack 100's theory puts Big Meech in a corner where every decision carries heightened risk. It's a scenario in which one misstep, or one misunderstanding, can be leveraged by his rivals to publicly humiliate him, damage his credibility, or even influence his business dealings. If Tammy did indeed share information with 50 Cent, it demonstrates how fragile alliances can be and how power dynamics can shift in unexpected ways. For Meech, it's a cautionary tale about trust, strategy, and the complex network of personal and professional relationships that can either support a comeback or undermine it. Wack's explanation frames this part of the saga as more than just a feud. It's a study in loyalty, manipulation, and the consequences of misplaced trust.
Back, you think about it, right? But you got a female that's running for you while you in prison, putting her life on the line. You entrusted in her to keep your secrets, right? You done signed over your life rights and all these things, right? I know the conversation as an inmate that we have with women. Baby, it's me and you, right? I gave the life rights to you. I didn't give them to my baby mama. I didn't gave them to you. I need you to do this thing, like make this happen. And she's doing all these things, right? And then he gets out of paroles to his baby mama.
Whether Wack 100 was spilling facts or just stirring the pot, one thing was clear. It gave 50 Cent even more fuel, and fans immediately went back to clowning Meech. One of the biggest moments came when Big Meech showed up wearing Kanye West's graduation jacket. On the surface, it was just a flex, but fans instantly caught the symbolism. That's the same album that outsold 50 back in their infamous 2007 sales battle. Some laughed it off, while others swore it was intentional, like Meech was leaning into old losses to provoke his former ally. What stood out most, though, was what didn't happen. Normally, 50 would be the first to roast a fit or screenshot a goofy pose, but this time, silence. That had people convinced he was holding back, saving ammo for something bigger. At this point, it's obvious this isn't just trolling. 50 is locked on Meech like an obsession. Most beefs fade, but with Meech, every move gets a response. Some say it's about betrayal. 50 put Lil Meech on, only to watch him cozy up to Russ. Others say it's about power. 50 doesn't just want to win, he wants to crush anyone who crosses him. Letting Meech slide would look weak. And if this ever moves from Instagram to the ring, it won't just be entertainment. It could be the final chapter in a feud that's already gone too far. One man is trying to protect his legacy, the other is trying to destroy it for laughs. And judging by how things are unfolding, it's starting to feel less like a rumor and more like the next move is just waiting to happen.